how do you stay top of mind when your prospect is not ready to buy today? I'm always fussing with companies, marketers, CEOs, founders about patience and about the long game. So often the conversation is about today's ROI, today's closing of a sale, today's lead who gets to the sales team and enters into a sales call. One of the shifts that I made that I hope will help you today in thinking about it is when you meet someone in your sales and marketing process, you instantly must say to yourself that if it's not about if they're going to buy your product or service like yours, it's when. Develop the idea that it's not if, it's when. And how can we stay in front of them? How can we stay in relationship with them over the long haul? Shift number 2 is how do you remember to stay in touch with them and on what cadence is appropriate? Like for every business, there's an appropriate cadence for when it makes sense to stay in touch. You cannot use your brain to remember when you need to contact someone. You've got to have a way to remember. So you've got to have a high quality CRM such that if you talk to someone today and they suggest, hey, why don't you get back to me in 90 days or get back to me in 6 months, or we just had a baby, we'll think about it next year. You need a system so you can archive that and let the system remind you when it's appropriate to get back in touch and let the tool tell you when. Shift number 3, in terms of this idea of top of mind awareness, you must continually, which is a big thing I see in sales, you try to go back to the same people over and over and over again until they buy, but you're not doing shift number 3, which is constantly adding new people to your audience, to your network, or to your database, right? You need a consistent lead generation system. And everything is not just about leads. It's building your network. It could be referral network. It could be people that could influence the product purchase or service purchase that you sell. You're wanting to constantly be building your network. You want to constantly be building your database because every person in your database could be influenced by your high quality work and refer you to someone even if they never buy. Be relational, be personal. Shift number 4 in staying top of mind is it's not always important that you're trying to be top of mind for the sale. Just be relevant. Just be top of mind in a non-salesy, non-icky, non-gross way, which looks like you're just trying to get something from them. Add value. Be a resource, whether they buy or not. What else do they need in their life? They came into your world for your thing, but what else do you know that they're going to need? And try to be a resource. Shift number 5 in this little short talk today, it's essentially finding out if the interest that led them to you is still of interest to them in the current time period. If they had not made it to sales yet, this is something the marketing department should handle generally through an email. And it's simply called the 9-word email. I've been using this now for almost 2 decades. Kind of hard to imagine, but all it simply says is all you're doing is sending an email to someone who had inquired about your product or service or purchasing your product or service or doing the thing that your product or service does. And you're simply saying, are you still interested in the outcome that your product or service provides? Maybe you missed the opportunity to stay top of mind. I mean, I know it's happened to me in my career many, many times, which is why I talk about this a lot. And it's not foolproof. But that last shift, number 5, is just gently reaching out and saying, are you actually still interested in the outcome that your product or service provides? Okay. So these little quick ideas, top of mind awareness in my mind is the accelerant to lifetime value, the lifetime value equation to the marketing ROI equation. So often we think that it's $1 in to get $2 out, $1 in to get $4 out, and how fast can we play that game? But what happens is that we put $1 in and get $1 out. What we must understand is there's another 5, 10, 15, 30 people who will do that thing, just not on the timeline that you would have hoped that they would have done it in. And so the ideas today here are about you must have a top of mind awareness strategy. And again, inside the Mindship Business Academy, inside our world at Yoka Local, we talk about these strategies as a holistic part of your marketing framework because you can do this with all sorts of technologies and channels and tools and so forth. You've got to do what's right for your business on the right cadence, which is something I said a little bit earlier. I see this all the time. I sign up with something, I go through a process, maybe it's not now. I never hear back from that company. I never get a follow up. I never get a touch base. I never get any of these things. And it's so simple, especially with great automation and simple CRMs today. Of course, at our agency, we use HubSpot, but you can use anything. It's just unbelievable that people complain about the lack of ROI in their marketing and their sales efforts, that they're just not generating enough revenue. But yet, when I reach out to their organization to inquire about their product or service, I don't hear a thing back. Crickets. And you know who ends up getting the business? The person who is top of mind when I'm ready.